Hello, Linda Israel here, and I am working in the Traveling Canvas Corp journal. You will have seen, hopefully, if you've been following along, the journal pages that I've been making. And here is the current journal by Bob Hauser that has been traveling from other artists in the Canvas Corp crew. So here's a couple of the other pages, and you can check out the Canvas Corp brand's blog to see how they created their page and their thoughts on that. So here is the blank page for me to fill. Now Barb had put a note on here that her pages were rather thin and that paints were bleeding through. So I decided to create my page separately, and I've gotten started by using the naturally aged paint system Precious Stone, and I've got a separate video that shows how I made this particular, I'm gonna get some stuff out of the way, this piece of paper. So I've got a video on how I created this piece of paper separately. I didn't think I needed to do it within this video. So this is going to be pasted into my journal here. And before I paste that in, I thought I would get it all ready, get it decorated, and then I would paste it into the journal. So I'm going to get the journal out of the way for now, and I'll show you what I'm going to put on top. So I know that the center of my journal, I'm going to basically crease this so I know where my journal is going to be. I'll cut that maybe, or I'll just use that as my point to put down in the journal. So I know I've got a left and a right side. I've got a few supplies here laid out. I've got a 7 Gypsies pad. This is ordered de jour, and I like some of this on the front page, so I'm just going to tear this page out. So I'll have it here laying on my desk. And I've got some architectures in a package, and then I die cut. This is a memory box die. It is called Small Ringlets, and I use the Rinea foil. This is a two-sided foil. In this case, it's gold on both sides, and I just thought that was a pretty little element. So I die cut that before, and I plan on using that in this journal page. So I think what I want to do is, I've also got some stamps from Brutus Monroe. They're called Be Brave, and I like the Be Brave and Life is Art. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of get started. I may fast forward through some of this because some of it is pretty much self-explanatory, but I'm just going to probably tear and cut some of these pieces out and use them here on the page. I think that's where I'm going to begin, is right here. I've got the Be Brave by Brutus Monroe with the Brutus Monroe embossing ink. I'm going to ink this up, and I'm going to stamp it on this little Western Union telegram from 7 Gypsies. And I'm going to use the gilded embossing powder from Brutus Monroe and emboss this. And I'll heat set that. I've got a little bit of the vintage photo and a paintbrush. I'm just going to go around where it says Be Brave and help that stand out just a little bit by painting around the words. I think that helps that Be Brave stand out pretty good. I've got the Life is Art and the Brutus Monroe embossing ink, and I'm going to emboss this onto another piece of the Seven Gypsies paper that I cut out. I'm going to use the Gilded again from Brutus Monroe, and I'll emboss this. I just went around it again with the vintage photo and a paintbrush. This kind of helps the words pop out. I'm just cutting part of this architecture's metal tile. I think that will be a pretty piece to add on here. I'm going to start assembling this and we'll see how it all goes together. I've got my Zig 2A glue. I'm going to use that on the back of this Rinea foil since it's so small and it may be hard to find a glue that would not make a big mess. I like the small nib on here because I can just put just a small amount and I know that it will adhere down all these little pieces. Alright, so about right here is where I want this. It's sticking to my fingers. I've got some Aleene's tacky glue that I'm going to use to adhere down the paper bits. Well, there is my art journal entry for the Traveling Canvas Corp Brands journal this month of April. I used the Tattered Angels Precious Stone for my background. There's a separate video for that. I used the Seven Gypsies pad, the Ordre du Jour for the paper elements here. I used the Brutus Monroe Stamp Set Be Brave to add a little bit of stamping. I used the Memory Box die and Rinea gold foil to add these little circles on there. I used one of the Architecture's tiles that has some texture in this journal. A little bit of Tim Holtz Distressing Inks around the edges of the paper. And of course I've signed it. So there's my journal entry. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, make sure that you comment below. Tell me what you think of this journal. Do you think that life is art? You know, that whole thing that live each day to be a beautiful moment. You know, be grateful for every day that you have. Those are things to think about. Be happy. You know, no matter what's going on in your life, if you start each day with a smile, no matter what's going on, fake it till you make it. Before you know it, things will be good. You'll never really understand that until you start living that way. And I kind of take each day one day at a time. I hope you enjoyed this. Give this video a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe because you'll see all kinds of goodies that I create here on my channel. Thanks so much for watching. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you check out the hashtag to see all the other artists that are in this round robin. There's 24 of us. There's 2 groups of 12. Thanks for watching. Bye.